Oh, there we go. Had a little error there. Evening, ladies and gents. How are you all? Welcome to Question Time Live, episode 131. Honestly, I didn't know if you were going to get me. I went into work this morning. I've taken the afternoon off because there's a little window where I could actually have a moment. I've not had one of those in 2 weeks, and yeah, I've just constantly been falling asleep, and God knows, I thought, Christ, if I do this now, I'm not going to make it. But there we go. I'm here, and my God, I can see you've been very, very busy already with the questions, which is amazing. We'll get stuck into them very, very soon. So yes. We'll take a minute, eh? We'll take a minute. How are your ponds doing, for one? I think that's a big one at the moment. The weather is interesting, to say the least, up and down. It really is. Believe it or not, I've got another boiler fault driving me potty. Is this? They're back tomorrow with some parts. Really not cool because this thing, it's not exactly cold at the minute, is it? But generally, the system, especially in the outdoor ponds, with that one boiler, just can't. It keeps things ticking over, but we'll get some temperatures fall off, albeit slowly, so it's not too bad. And then I've got to very carefully build it all back up, and yeah, it's crazy. But that's one bit, and then we're right in the middle of all the Dainichi Toyota selection events, which has been the one that's weighing heavy. Just I have not come off the end of that camera in between everything else, then all the editing. But the amazing bit that's come out of it, and very soon when I can get Dan again, we're going to get a live stream scheduled to show my wider audience the system that's got built. And this is what I love about having great people within the team, and especially this one with Dan, because we went from at the Miss Toyota selection event. He did a great job. He was there and actually took all the data, and rather than our usual pull the balls, the numbers out the bag, he actually set it up. We had the screen in there with the spinning wheel, and it was very well organized what he did with the spreadsheets. It was amazing. And then he offered to help with the online stuff, because if you've joined one of those, we do execute it well, but the whole process is clunky, to say the least. A selection event of a decent number can take around 2 hours. So he set about looking for an online, something out there he could use, and didn't like what he saw. So decided to start building what we needed. Wasn't planned. He's busy working away on the platform, which is getting very, very close now as well. And then all of a sudden, I get presented with this system he's made, and it has blown me away. It's just taken the experience, well, where we would have wanted it for the online side, just way quicker than I expected. So everybody involved in those, as we've done the events, we did the Kohaku, the Showa one is ongoing at the moment. You now get presented with your own unique selection page where you can browse each fish, video, picture, and then start adding them to your unique list. You can just drag and drop and reorder it with your preference. It's amazing. And then when it comes to the live selection, which we did the Kohaku one last night, oh my God, I mean, the whole thing was done in 20 minutes. I told him next time we'll have to slow the wheel down, but that's even cooler. So everything's already pre-inputted. It's our own spin wheel system. And then as it goes along, it shows, it automatically chooses the first available fish from everybody's list, shows it there, we move on to the next one. It was amazing. So yeah, and now an amazing base for us to build off with that. So I would like everybody to get a look at it to see what it's going to be a part of one of those events, and just see how that's going to develop over time as well, which is really cool. And then other farm stuff, we're just let's say very, very deep in the work. All the fish are doing well. Miss Toyotas are settled back in really well. They're now not heavy on the food, but I'm building it. They're looking good, but every day they're getting increases, and every day I think looking better and better as well. And then quite a cool one you're going to get to see. So I actually invited the Humber lads over because those guys were there at some of my first events. And I see the videos crop up the odd time, his pond building ones, to be fair. And I like how they do it, just documenting what they do in such a nice way to share with people. So liking to support the community as much as I can. I invited them over because I knew I was going to be harvesting a very special pond, or documenting it, should I say. So getting them out, checking over everything as the growing seasons technically ended on that one. And it was the amazing Sansai Yonsai pond that I did. So that was on a Sunday, that was. And yes, so Aaron's very excited, putting together a great video. I think you're going to get to see on his channel soon of that. I didn't actually do any footage, so it's all in his hands. Pressure's on, and it was amazing there. Obviously, Leo has been in it for a while now, which obviously resonates with me. People getting into it young. So yeah, let's stay tuned for that one as well. But that pond, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I tell you. In fact, I should drop. And I'm not going to be able to, am I? I'll tell you what, we'll get to see him somewhere at some point. I've dropped a couple in the WhatsApp groups actually. We've got I've got Super Mango Benny Goy in there now, Sansai 66 cm. There's Ball Bags Super Mango Achiever, let's call it, at 65 cm. Absolutely fuming still. My epic pair of Saito Karashis, but oh my god, to see it up close, honestly, I was blown away myself. I'm not gonna lie, because it's that, you know, pushing them boundaries that they met the expectations I'm having of how I want those fish to come out compared against benchmark breeders in Japan. And it's there, but that pond really has probably been one of the lower stocked intentionally to see where I could get them with length and size. And I am really enjoying now setting this program out of these fish over a 12-month period, which I think for the longevity of them, given the summer can be quite difficult with the raising of the big fish because it gets so hot. So when I'm dealing with nearly 28, 30 degree water, feeding enough, kind of their appetite diminishes them. So feeding enough to actually get body mass as well as length growth is not easy. So it's kind of like, right, let's get the length on them. It's almost helping them just survive that season. And then when it comes out the other end of it, into more that autumn period, and now in winter is when they've been hit, really, been really pushed, and ebbing and flowing. Few periods where there's just been breaks in the feeding as well. And yeah, playing and experimenting, and it's clearly worked, because I think there was 16 fish in total, 16 or 18. It's been a little bit higher. That's obviously part of this. Me having this, let's 12-month window, let's say, allows me to start a pond off with more fish and then actually remove some over time, which is good because you get the odd one that don't quite go to plan. Commercially, as we increase the raising for people as well, it'll allow us to manage costs a bit better. So rather than having, you know, a set out 6-month period, which for a fish like that will come at quite a cost, we can actually break that down into like 2-3 month blocks, for example, and go from there, like over that summer period. So and tailor it, because like in that case, like I say, I think and I did experience this, to have it as a 3-month period, it might be that 3-month period drops in the shitter part of the year, which is not so good. But obviously this is case by case, and I can assess it for people depending on the fish. But yeah, overall it was absolutely nuts. In fact, I tell you what, I am just going to ping a video through on here. Just bear with me a moment, because you need to see why I'm so upset with Ballbag and him buying that Mango Achiever. Luckily he's being sensible and agreeing to keep it with me and letting grow it another year. So as much as I don't want to keep looking at it, I also need to see where we can get with it as well. And I'd be devastated if we didn't get there, think at 65, I think another 12-month period, we're getting on for 75. But honestly, it's how that volume, it's just been almost disproportionate, the growth on that this year. Just give me 1 second. Ping it through. And then the nice bit in that, my 75 cm challenge. So I was attempting, I wanted to grow a 75 cm Sansai, as you do. Obviously, that's still not quite 36 months old. We're talking around, what, 33-ish at the minute, 32, 33. And I knew there was a couple of possibilities, but one particular golden corn, an original type as well, one of the best I've ever had, just a very, very good one, came in at 73 cm. I mean, just take that 73 cm at that age, and that's a fish that I know when the growing period started, it was at 18 centimeters. I mean, how wild is that? And this is not a fish carrying excessive weight. If I should load that one up as well, shouldn't I? I'm tormenting you, telling you about these fish, then not showing them. Yeah, it's just obviously the genetics are helping, but when that genetic potential is there, like I've always said, you've then also got to eke it out. And my God, has it eked out on that one. So yeah, didn't quite hit where I wanted to be, but I'm not gonna 73 cm. I'm not too disappointed. Right, I'm getting there with these videos. Just 1 moment. There we go. Right. Oh, yeah. I hope you all sat down. You're going to need to be when you see these. Right. Brace yourself. So, the mango achiever. I mean, have you ever seen anything like it? So the mango line, you basically here got a pairing of Kohaku and Karashigoi. That's what has created the pattern. That's what's in there. But obviously coming from that mango Karashi, and the big thing with Sakai mango is that body form look. It's got an absolute jackhammer head now, and the shoulders, they get to that certain point, it's just absolutely coming alive. So much more to come out of it yet as well. I think that was in the realms of about 18 centimeters when I started with it as well. I mean, how savage is that? It's absolutely class. Crikey, let me show you the other one, and then I'll dive into some of your questions. Right. So this is the golden corn that was my big size challenge. Like I say, 73 cm Sansai now. Let's have a look. Oh, just look at that. And you can tell, look, it's not been for, I mean, there's the element of it's done it with ease because of the body line it's got and those genetics. But not only the size, there's not been many original golden corn that good. It is phenomenal. And right there, you're staring at the body line of a fish that can grow to 90 plus. You keep that in the right pond, it's going to do it with ease and look phenomenal doing it as well. Bonkers. So yeah, that was a great day, great results, very happy. It just helps me again dialing in. The big variation with my ponds is I know, depending on the results I want to achieve now, pretty much exactly how I need to adjust the stocking levels to get there. And sometimes that might be that, you know, if I want to grow fish with heavier volume, you need to be at this point. And that's ultimately what it comes down to, because it's being able to get the amount of food in and keeping everything really running in an optimal state as well. Yes, plenty. There we go. I've just scrolled down to the bottom because that's going to catch up with me in a little bit. There we go. Right. Anyway, let's get stuck into some questions. And if you haven't got one in, you want to pop it in now. I'm going to go, like I say, till around 8 o'clock, unless I fall off any sooner. Right, let's have a look. Going early with a question, Ricky. Heading into the new year, what are your plans with Miss Toyota? Do breeders give a rest, quite a rest, or carry on each season? Right. So I was all set for obviously going again. Now a certain somebody's chucked a quite an interesting spanner in the works, and I've got to say I've had a good deep think about it, and I'd not really had it in mind until said person mentioned it, and I thought, "Ooh, that's an interesting one." So I'm not going to say too much more. I've got a lot going on that front at the moment, but yeah, exciting, I think, and just unfortunate that I don't have more ponds. Let's say that, but that'll hopefully come in time. But obviously, I've learned a hell of a lot of what Miss Toyota is capable of now as a parent fish. But she doesn't need a rest. She's had the rest since spawning. She's been in the mud pond. She's being kept in all the right ways. So doesn't need to. She could carry on. Obviously, presuming everything would be successful again. Not always the case either. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, ladies and gents. Let's say that. Ben, hi Ricky. Building a pond which is 3.5 by 2 meters. Now, with the depth, I've heard a pond that's too deep will cause swim bladder issues. Is there any truth on this? It's not necessarily causing swim bladder issues. You've got to ask yourself about necessity. Now, it can put, especially on bigger fish, unnecessary pressure on them. But and swim bladder problems can be caused in a lot of different ways. But you just got to ask yourself, is there any benefit to go in too deep? I think 1.5 is absolutely. Most of my ponds are about a meter in depth. Obviously, they're indoors primarily, or they're heated. So we've not got any kind of natural causes for concern with freezing or anything like that. But it's just not necessary to have that more. And I think it comes a point if you're trying to make up your water volume, and that's what a lot of people do. If you're limited by surface area, trying to make it up with depth, I don't think there's too much to be gained from that. You probably want to look at how you can manipulate the current of the water a bit more, because again, you look at that 3.5 by 2, what's that, 6? So they're probably not too far away from like my 1,200 gallon ponds indoors, which again, they're around about a meter of depth, and I do some seriously cool things with them ponds. So yeah, don't waste the digging or the block work, whatever it is. It's not necessary. So 1 to 1.5 meters, I think you're going to be absolutely fine. Carl, at the end of all the selection events for the Dainichi fish, will you do a video of your top 3 picks for each varieties and explain your thinking behind it? Carl, what I tend to do is generally, talk about that stuff more at the end of events when the fish have grown and done, because it all changes, it all goes. And I did do a little with the new system last night because there was time, a bit of appraisal on each fish as it went through. So yes, and I'm enjoying the one little thing. We've got a little insights page now actually on the system where we can see people's, not necessarily the individual choices, but collectively which fish are ranked highest based on the amount of times they've been selected or chosen. The Showa one right now is looking very interesting, I must say. How common are tumors in koi? I have one that definitely has one, and it's just got another that has a small bump on its side. Just wondering if it's another tumor. I'd have to see it, to be honest. Tumors are not super common, so I can't and things like that. I always need to see it to actually make sure it is, because you can get different external growths. Tumors generally tend to be inside. I've experienced a few over my time. Very little can be done with it, but no, not something I would say is common. Hi, Ricky, you and Dan have done a brilliant job on the new selection format. Really looking forward to the event next week. Thank you very much, Ken. Yeah, I've got to say, I'm not taking too much credit for it. But yeah, it's awesome. It really is. Hi, Ricky. I'm thinking of building a polytunnel over one of my ponds to help with heating costs and be able to enjoy all year round, but I'm concerned about blocking too much UV light. Do you use there we go, specific grade polythene on your tunnels? So all we use is the very basic sheet that you buy, visqueen. I think they still use primarily. Absolutely fine, full UV transmission. It's the ones that generally trap more heat than ones designed play around with UV and bits like that. I've looked at a few. I'm no expert on it. That I just go with the straight up visqueen, and I think the best way then is you're getting full penetration through, and then you can control it with shading from there on in, which I think is the best route to go down. Hi, Ricky, do you know where Martin got the big blue bone char filters from in the documentary? Yes, Andy Finch. There we go. And I think from what I hear, Andy Finch has been rather busy since the documentary. So Andy's great. He really is. And it can also provide a bit more insight into, or great insight into all that equipment and getting the best out of it as well. So yes, I would recommend that. Hi, Ricky. How do I start spring knowing I will introduce 5 new 35 centimeter coils I bought over winter at the end of March? Pond 2,000 gallon SOC pump, already 5 koi present to grow, but not fast and steady. How do I start spring knowing I introduce? So it's just the same as anything. What we want to make sure with when it moves into spring and you've got heating, what you want to do is mitigate against the natural swings that are going to come, because it's them swings that will absolutely kick your ass and make it's an absolute nightmare for you. So I think for me, it's getting to a temperature. So if you say the ranges that I use, you're at 12 at the minute. For me, when you decide, right, I'm going to kick things off, you want to raise it up to 18 over a period of time, let it get settled in there. That'll be a good temperature for settling fish in as well. You're going to wake up all your filters, obviously potentially wake up parasites as well. So it's worth getting on the scope, just having a check there, getting stuff medicated down. I think once you've kind of warmed everything up and things are settled to some degree and you're happy, you've increased feeding a little bit, maybe any minor spikes, then you could look to introduce your fish. And that's just the same process. You introduce new fish, things can get a bit rocky for a little period. So you just take them through that with pretty much the same steps I've just described. And then whenever you're ready, if you want to heat for your summer growth, start stepping it up, maybe 18, 20, 22, 24, if you want to go that high. But it's not to overthink it. The big thing is it's getting the stability is the real important part. Obviously, if you're at 12, it's not a bad temperature for introducing new fish, and what you've got is heat there if you need it. Because if you introduce them at that point and they don't like the journey, the move, whatever it is, you can warm it up to help them settle in if needs be. Like from our perspective, what I'll be doing is bringing everything down and matching ambient towards the end of March, wherever we're at, obviously just to make any transition to unheated ponds better. So but it's all about just using what you've got to give yourself the stability. Rick, hope you well, mate. I keep asking. I'll get first dibs on your best pick. When do you reckon you'll get more info on them Cano Chags? No, not got them yet. I can't remember which shipment. It's one I've got coming in a couple of weeks, I think, is the one for that. So won't be too much longer. Patience, Chris. Patience. You got enough fish, mate. Anyway. I'm pump fed, second filter line with SOS heat pump, needs pressurized water. Is filter material around the pump plus 10% second filter and MBF an option. So we're just talking about pressurized pre-filters. This is probably the group will probably tell you more than this. I mean, pressurized pre-filters, you've literally got pressurized sort of canister filters is the best option I can think of there for something like that for you. Second line needs pressurized water. Tempest would possibly work. I'm not sure. You might get you because you're gonna might struggle with conflicting flow rates there. What the Tempest needs because they're quite slow, aren't they? Versus the air source, and I'm not really familiar with air source heat pumps and flow rates. I think a good shout here is get yourself over into the Telegram group. The community there will be amazing for you. There is a link below and probably even help you with certainly the air source heat pump channel on there. I think is the best resource out there for that stuff. The guys have put some serious knowledge in. Good evening, Ricky. I had a power supply problem today, so my question is: do Koi cope better with pond problems like power or electrics failure? Absolutely, Mickey. Just cooler water. Obviously, the air generally is better, and lower temperatures, higher dissolved oxygen in the water. Just the whole, less feeding, the whole shebang. So yeah, absolutely better. Good evening, everyone. What we got? 142 on the stream at the minute. Amazing. Good evening, everyone. Treated the fluke, fish and pond looking good. Sound. Good afternoon from the States. Hi, Ricky. If you had one of your 1,200 gallon ponds at home, how many koi would you keep in it to get the best out of them? So I think just referring back to what I said before, I mean, this is ultimately one of mine. So they're quite obviously. There's 300 liters of K1. There's the brushes. There's the heating as well. It really varies on what you want to achieve. This is what I could, with all of my ponds, have come to know is what I can get, what stocking levels I can get away with. Obviously, if you're looking to keep them through, I'm raising, some big fish. It is something I want to challenge at some point to see exactly how far I could put a batch of fish or take them just in them ponds. But I mean, just see what happened with the Karashigoi this year. I mean, 53, 54 cm, biggest ones come out. There was like, was it 20, 23, 24? Roughly, 50 to 53, 54 cm that come out. It was wild. But ultimately, it's going to be dictated by what that filter is going to handle, what oxygen capacity. Obviously, it's a smaller body of water, so that can become a bigger problem as well. If you're looking to grow them bigger long term using that volume water, your stocking level is going to be a lot lower. The thing where mine differs is obviously I graduate it through, so always start higher and keep working down, whereas typically as hobbyists you're probably going to work the other way. So yeah, hard to say exactly how many because there's a lot of variables in that, but I would be confident long term on taking 8 to 10 fish from small through to very, very good sized fish in one of them ponds for sure. We have a Shisui had a bacterial infection breakout last year, badly affected. It's left the Shiroji, which what I can describe as grey spider veins. Did it scar, Ray? Because that could be the one. If it's scarred, then you might always find it stays a little bit like that. What you can also get is if it's one of the areas where they knock a scale off, you can get that because under the base of a Shisui's skin, it is generally quite black. This is why Shisui can tend to go black, and you've got basically everything, the Shiroji Benny, everything sort of blocking it out. But sometimes when a scale's lost or bits and bobs like that, you expose a bit of that black color. So it might also be along them lines. Pleasure. You're on it with the corn, Luke, aren't you? Actually, tomorrow night, you might have seen I had my last golden corn update video drop on the channel yesterday. I've got an amazing, I can't remember, batch of pieces that's getting dropped on my Ricky Stoddart group tomorrow. There is a link in that description. They're exceptional, really exceptional. But as for any new ones coming, the sort of smaller size Nisai, I think have about worked their way out at the moment. I've got my absolute lethal stash, but all 50, 55 and over now as well. And I've got a little batch coming, but I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with them yet. So let's wait and see. I rehome 3 fishing orbs so I can get more Kushoga in the spring. Fantastic. Hi, Ricky. I need to build a new air diffuser for my K1 chamber. What are the specs you used? Yeah, I don't keep stuff like that in my head very well. I've got it all written down somewhere, but there's the video on the channel that I believe I put everything on. So you might just want to find that one and have a look. Unfortunately, like I say, don't keep that. Tell you where absolutely any of my fish are, but not something like that one. Thank you very much. Ricky, when you going to share the love and let us buy some koi in the USA? I love that one. I watched your videos last night with the golden corn. I'm drooling like a fat kid at a pie shop window. Love that one. Yeah, give us a chance, Robert. Honestly, I can't say much more. I think I've been quite open even about the staffing issues right now, which is slowing me down. I don't like it. So yeah, we've got there's always something. There's projects, at the fore, there's ones in the background. So I always like, things take time, you get stuff sort of going, but I do keep to there's certain steps, it kind of once we've unlocked them and got them done, I think we'll be able to start doing something. What's the biggest koi ever? How big they can get? I don't know ever. I know Konishi, I believe, has Karashi gois, I think over 110. I might have heard that 116's been hit or something crazy, but yeah, it's getting quite common now, even on the Go Sankey scene. A meter at your Sakai's, Dainichis, they seem to be getting there quite often. It's very, very impressive. Ian, Ricky, and all. I know you have lots of personal fish here and in Japan, but have you ever had a personal koi pond at home? No, just my fish tanks. That's it. I think for me, I don't see what. I mean, if you just take the past 2 weeks, I mean, my fish tanks are so neglected. It's untrue. The farm literally takes me 15 minutes to get there, and it's set up for doing things the way I want to do them as well. So yeah, it doesn't really. A personal pond, so to speak, doesn't have an appeal for me when all that is just where it is anyway. It's like a giant playground for it all. So I do, when I look at that, I do like the proper traditional Japanese style, all the big rocks and the trees and whatnot. But reality is, what is it they often say? Don't take your work home. I mean, I do in a lot of ways, just not the fish part, but even having the tanks here. Not gonna lie, it's very rare of me to get like that. But the past couple of weeks have been so intense. It's like, oh my god, I wish I didn't have fish sat here right now because of the burden of responsibility you feel to make sure they're kept to the highest levels, which the fish are looked after. The algae on the glass, however, I would be ashamed of to show anybody right now. But there we go. But yeah, no personal pond. Say, I think with that where it is, it's just not something that interests me, to be fair. Original corns, yes, they are cool. Oh, Sachi's on it. Look, that's it. Come on, thumbs up, share. Come on, do it. All the usual things. Help the video out. Oh yeah, so we're into some golden corn comments now. I'll leave them off. So that's obviously from Aaron's visit the other day. Fancies a Saito Karashi. Yes, absolutely. Never seen a better one in this country. Yes, and to be honest, I've only ever seen a couple of them that good at Taniguchi. There's just not actually been that many of the original ones that kind of replicated it. So, and I think there might be a couple more. The interesting ones, I've got non-Ginrin versions of the original that are looking sensational this year in the Nisai batch. Even Ricky and all, are the Dainichi Yellow Monkey Ginrin Chagoy a good line? Is cheers. Yes, quite phenomenal. Obviously, when they first produced them, I was the first person to bring them into the UK because I knew instantly, knowing Dainichi, that there was going to be exceptional genetics behind them, and there really is. They all came. The whole bloodline originates from one, what was called the Botan spawning, which was from a giant Karashigoi mixed with all kinds of fish. And from there, all kinds of fish were produced. And then over time, it's been narrowed, refined, and given them options to produce more stuff. So obviously, Yellow Monkey crops up. I think that first generation, I had a lot of. I bought very expensive ones in the auction. I bought batches of Tosai from the auctions as well. And the thing I like about a Ginrin Karashi is the color stability is important for me, because any variety that should be yellow, the stability of that yellow color for me is crucial. Now, there's Kiyotsuris produced by people that I know full well. Otsuka is one example. They tend to look great when they're just harvested, then slowly over time, especially in England, that yellow turns to a light orange, maybe a deeper orange, and it's quite frustrating because at that point you've got, in essence, what looks like a shit Kiyotsuris, which is never great. So it's a reason I love about Golden Corn. What Taniguchi created was a very stable yellow color. It keeps there. Certain Mango Karashigoi lines did it. The original Yellow Monkeys were very much like that as well. Now, after that first spawning, I can't remember if it was second year or third, they didn't manage to produce them again. And the year after, or year, whatever it was, they've got going. Yes, they've got going again. A lot of those original attributes there. What I'm seeing now, and I don't know if it's more just on the cull or selection process that they're going through, but I've certainly seen it firsthand. I bought a lot of expensive ones out of the auctions last year to grow through, and there's a lot more of them turning orange. And we did see this with the auctions last year, more Chagoi coming off the spawn, what they started then calling Orange Monkey, and we're getting the white ones as well now. Quite cool. But the orange, frustrating in a sense of, if you want a yellow one and it turns orange, that is freaking annoying. Let me tell you, I've had it happen with 3 of them, but let me tell you, it is the most unique orange color I've ever seen, because it's not red. It's not, you can tell it's not even trying to be Benigoi, and it's not yellow. So to some degree, I think the body's still packing a punch. The Ginrin's amazing. The color quality, whichever color it is superb. I think at this current iteration, what I'm a bit saddened by is that there might be that potential of that slight instability in the color, which would, if I was having a batch of Tosai, would lean me to look a different selection criteria. If I wanted to get one to stay yellow, I'd be looking to get a very, very light Tosai, more so. But yeah, it's phenomenal. It's, I say, in its proper Dainichi head, bodies, and growth. But things do change. They don't always stay as they are. Keeping a bloodline ultra consistent is not easy whatsoever. But I'm glad they did master it, because it would have been a massive shame to see them drop out entirely. And some might say now all the color variations are a better thing, and I'd probably be inclined to agree. It's just it's good to know these things, because, like I say, for me, I would adjust that selection criteria now, knowing that there could be that vast color change when they get older and more mature. Can you grow jumbo koi in a relatively small pond, 3,000 gallons, if you keep stocking levels low? Absolutely. I'm doing it in 3,500 gallons. It's all about, for me, the real art is obviously heat and food, and then it's managing what comes from the amount of food you've got to get to make them fish grow. And then the fish themselves have to have the genetic potential and the physical capabilities within the body to get the size. Practice makes perfect with the catching. It really is. I wonder flavour of koi will be in this year's fish summer shows. Who knows? Who knows? Let's wait and see. Genetics play a big role in size along with good water quality, but what do you feed them and protein percentage? Lionel, you must be new to the channel, mate. Saki Hikari and only Saki Hikari. Balance, growth, color are the three ones that I use. Protein, scrap that. You know, if you're using professional foods as well, they'll be built to do the job. And that's what, when you know, for me, a food range is professional, you get a growth diet, you get a color diet, you get a balanced diet. That's how it goes, and then you make your own mixes according to what you're trying to do. The big one for me is I like to see decent fat content in a growth food, but the real magic is the balance and the quality of the protein, but then the balance of fats, carbs, and proteins in order to get the growth and the weight building in the right way. Brilliant. I have 9 koi, no 2 are same type. What type of offspring is expected? I'd really need to know what got paired together, to be fair. There you go. Look, stay tuned for that one. Should be a banger. I hope you're feeling the pressure, Aaron, as well, mate. A lot riding on this. I've been pricing up options for my new pond build for the same money as a drum filter set. Here we go. Look, this man's talking my language. For the same money as a drum filter set, I can buy 2 times Nexus TI Autos. This would mean a lot more bio and flow rate. You've nailed on the head, Rich. I mean, it just fucking makes sense, doesn't it? Get yourself 2 Nexuses, 2 independent lines. Wow. There you go. Look, I would take that every day of the week over the drum. And not that's set any sort of drum filter feelings aside. It just makes sense. That's it. You know, you can keep a nice slow flow through each line, but the total pond turnover can be higher if you want it to. You've got the dream scenario there, mate, for me. And this is a lot of the things over the years I've been trying to say is, you know, when you're looking at that pond budget, how best to utilize it. And when you can get, you know, if automatic cleaning is what you're after, then, it's this bullshit questions I can see. Sorry. If automatic cleaning is what you're after, there are other options out there, not just drums. And drums are not maintenance free. But the price of the things is quite frightening. And if you look at what you can get, I mean, even just take this look. If it was a choice where you meant on that scenario, you get a big Nexus, fully loaded with media, your air pumps, and then have an air source heat pump rather than another Nexus, that is the route I'd go down every day of the week, because that as a combined package is going to deliver more than just having a drum filtered pond. So there we go. Rant over on that one. Let's have a look. When starting a new system, would you limit the amount of fish you initially put in? Tosai under 35%. Ideally, I want 10 fish total. Thank you for everything you do. My pleasure. This is always a hard one with starting up ponds because, I mean, I don't limit it. I crank the temperature up, but that's the big point. Don't miss that. Crank it up, get them fish whacked in, start feeding it. But obviously, I'm very experienced in handling what comes from that as well. The problem is you need to trigger new pond syndrome. For me, I want to trigger it as quickly as possible and get out. What will happen is, though, if you trigger that and you've not got the heat, you'll not get the filter maturing as fast, and you could get stuck in a problem there if you spike it too high. But what you've got to be careful of, if you are, I've seen it happen, you slowly had a fish, 2 fish, whatever. You can be 3 months before your pond all of a sudden goes, oh, I've had enough. Poof, filters fall apart. So I think for me, it's good to get it, but you need the heat to do it, to be able to support you and get through it. So would I limit it? It's a really tough question, that, because no, but again, that's me talking more commercially than as a hobbyist. As a hobbyist, it kind of is what it is, because you also don't want, because it's a different element to it, to be loading up with kamikaze fish, if you like. You know, you load it up with fish and then you get emotionally attached to some, and you've got that whole dilemma, or the family gets attached and you can't get rid of them, or whatever it is. So it's a tough one, but I like to get a bit of loading in a pond to begin with if the heat's there, just to get the whole thing cycling and cracked on. I hope that's helpful, Ben. Do you feed your fish at night also, or just daytime? Yes, my last feeds are, depending on the cycle, the every 2 hour cycle is at 10, and I think the every 3 hour cycle is at 11, if I'm right. But what I do like is a period of a rest where feeding stops, just to let the system recuperate. That's it's not so much the fish I'm concerned about there. It's letting it, obviously they want a bit of rest as well, and food would interrupt it. So yes, let's have a look. Evening, Ricky. Just wondering what's the best way around adding smaller fish around 20 to 30 cm from a grow out tank into a larger pond outdoors with fish around 45 cm. Just worried about competition. Yeah, that's not too bad. 20 to 30 there, 45. I've not got any massive concerns. So obviously, if your temperatures are similar and they're both your bodies of water, introduce them across. Can't see that being an issue. Tom, do you send koi out via delivery company? Yes, we do. We use DX generally, but depending on what fish it is, with bigger and higher value fish, we where possible, well, not where possible, actually, we have a driver who does same day stuff for us. It's just that the frequency is not quite the same. We try and combine a little run if we can, because of the cost of it. But yes, we get them to you quite easily. It should be in there. If it's not, I've fucked up and I do apologize. I thought there was just automatically posting in. Did see the ones coming up on Thursday. You're in a good place, mate, with a corn obsession. Very good place. Evening, Ricky. Looking to give Sakai food a go this season, or Saki food a go this season. Is balance a good one to start with? Also, how the Sakai toe side doing? Any more due for release? We had a spat at this the other day. I'm pretty much just down to my my absolute weapons now, so there'll be very few of those coming out anytime soon. Food balance is a great place to start. It's a fantastic all-rounder, so no issues with that one. If you get the heat or want to push it a bit harder, then you will see a big difference with growth. But yeah, very good place to start. Hi mate, this is second year covering my pond heated to 12 degrees. My koi seem to get small white fungus spots on the head since using the covers. Do they heal when I take the covers off? Fungus spots is peculiar, unless we mean carp pox. You can still get carp pox at 12, the process of cooling down. Some fish that are sufferers with it. So I'm wondering if it's more along them lines. If it's actual fungus, I would say you want to be acting on that one, to be honest. So if that's the hard waxy lumps, then that's pox. What you can also get is in that cooler waters, you'll get cycles where they might get an odd bleb of excess mucus on the head. Always worth checking that there's no parasites there. I think it tends to be quite normal when it's cooler, and that'll just tend to cycle off even without a temperature increase, unless there's something really causing it. Ricky-san, have you bought any of your golden corn collection back from Japan? They will be coming sometime in February, some of them. Not too many. On the Krashigoi that were on the website, is there an option to keep them growing beyond March? No, Luke, not with those ones. There's no plans at the moment. What's the biggest fish you've ever owned? I think we're going to be talking Miss Toyota, thinking about it, 85 cm as it stands, and I'm sure be 90 soon. So yes, there you go. That was a nice easy one to answer. Oh. Fair play, Simon. Fair play. You're gonna have to crack on, Ricky. Some folks have European football at 21. Just fuck off, Satch. We'll be back there next year playing proper European football as well, mate. Proper stuff. Hey, I watched your video about the koi pond disaster. Thanks for being open. I'm a fish health practitioner. How accessible is good fish advice on the koi scene? Health advice is around everywhere. That's the problem. And I think from a practitioner perspective, not enough, to be honest. That's pretty much where that's at. And this is why people fall into the disasters, like was documented in that video, because of the health advice he was getting from somebody who wasn't a practitioner. Fucking con man. So yeah, that's where it is. No, I don't think it's accessible. It's not easy to track down. It's not easy to find. This is why when shit hits the fan, hobbyists are generally having to turn towards sort of black market antibiotics and all the rest of it, and not going down proper routes, not getting proper diagnosis, because it's not super easy. Go for the next search. At least you can go on holiday. There you go. Look, and that is a super valid point. I would not trust going away and just leaving a drum without somebody having eyes on it daily. Not a chance. Or some kind of, fail-safe bypass or whatever it is being activated. From Indonesia. Very nice to meet you. Welcome to Question Time Live. I have a shower that's losing Benny on the head. Do you think I should leave it to see what happens rather than moving it on? Depends what's happened to it, Kevin. If it is genuinely color loss, it'll never come back. If something has affected it, then there's a chance. If it's not gone too deep, or if it's scratched it, if it's not gone too deep, there's a chance it'll come back. That's a decision you're going to have to make on that one. Plus 15 growing koi without manufactured pellets requires catching. Okay, Simon. No question in that one. What food is good for unheated ponds? Again, so for me, where my sort of stance on this is, sort of at 12 degrees, you'd be safe feeding a tiny bit of sake balance because you don't want to be doing it a lot anyway. If you really want to be feeling flush, I mean, sake pure white is a phenomenal food to feed when it's cool. It really is. I'm not a big fan. I always say I believe wheat germ is a product just designed to sell fish food to koi keepers in winter. There's very little substance behind it. I'm not a fan. I think when it's that cold, you've got to be very careful with your filters anyway, and not overfeeding where the filters are at in that state. So yeah, either of them two is where I'm at with it. Does Martin? He's not seen it recently, but the answer's definitely no, Aaron. I can assure you of that. Ian and Ricky, hope you're well. When are you hoping to do your koi show? Yeah, so we did have to park this a little bit because just that we're absolutely overrun. But I think we're going to dig in now and bring Aaron in and just and see what we can do, integrating a bit of online and that in the whole process to make it easier as well. So nothing as of yet, but we're going to get to it very, very soon. Crikey, a couple more just fired in then. I thought I'd hit the bottom. Yours love a bit of sturgeon pellet. Fair play. If your toe size starts to look a bit chunky, what advice would you be to keep them growing in length? So that could be two things. You're overfeeding for whatever temperature you're at. So it could be that you want to crank the temperature a bit more. It could be the food that you're using. Some foods don't build weight in a great way. It could also be the size of the pond. Now, even when your water's warm, if it's a small tank with a limited surface area, you'll put weight on the fish, but it'll be more fatty weight than muscular weight because they're not being able to swim an exercise to build that muscular volume that's going to come. So it could be either of those without knowing all the full details. Yeah, hope that's helpful. And I have hit the bottom, look. Fantastic. 5 minutes. Cool. So that's it then, ladies and gents. I'm going to call it. Oh, there we go. I can't not do that one, can I? Oh, you swines. 2 more. Go on, we have got 5 minutes anyway, haven't we? 2, 3 more. Crikey. Best temp to stay at through winter if heated. I always say 12 or 18. In between it is just no man's land. You're wasting your money. 12, you'll keep, if you want to go cooler, you'll keep things ticking over really well without being too excessive and putting yourself in a bit of an anaerobic shit spot. Or 18 and above, where you can actually, you know, get a bit of food in and do something. Old school hobby is suffering from sentimental old fish syndrome. You just said new pond just finished. Go. That's exactly my point. From a health perspective, what needs to change, what support is missing, and what kind of fish health services would actually be accepted in the koi scene. I think everything. I think the real big issue here is obviously costs naturally with veterinary stuff, and it's weird because obviously given the average value of a koi collection, when shit hits the fan, people seem reluctant to spend the money on the costs. But it depends what it is. I would say the most pressing issue around this is the stuff where bacterial problems come into play, because bacterial problems are rife in the hobby. That's why I like to speak about it a lot. We've got issues with shame around it, I think, as well, and people not coming forward. But it's the action. I've demonstrated, the documentary clearly demonstrated, just with a clear process, you can get these things stopped pretty quickly. But within that clear process is the testing and the antibiotic part. And when people don't know where to go, or the costs are just completely debilitating, it shoves them down different routes or into a cycle where they think they can, you know, chuck some meds in, do this, dose the wrong antibiotic, or get the right antibiotic at the wrong dose. And then it keeps the pond trapped in that cycle. It doesn't properly clear it. You go and change something, maybe add a couple of new fish, bump, it all starts again. Before you know it, you're 2 years down the line. It's just absolute pandemonium. So it's being able to find it, access it, and then it's the price of it as well. And I think as much work in the online world that we live in, as much diagnosis and access to that via an online route, which I don't know how that complies around veterinary rules. I've had a few chats with Bryony about it. I know it's complex. There might be some grey areas, but yeah, that's I think what it needs, to be honest. Easy access from diagnosis to getting that treatment through, and not needing to pay for pond side. Because even from your own perspective there, you know, being pond side across the country is going to cost a fortune just in running around. So the more of that stuff can be done remotely, the better. I can't convince anyone to do it, unfortunately. I just do. We do our own thing, and let's say at the heart of it is just trying to make whatever part of processing koi keeping from this as enjoyable as possible. I think it's just crucial that the process of buying new fish, one of the best bits of the hobby, is made to be as enjoyable as possible, and it's exactly what we're working on. Are Kaze Achiba in general known for being fat? Yeah, I mean, Kaze fish are tricky. None of them are particular big growers. You've got to be careful and manage them. So that's where I go. But that's not just that. Obviously, those varieties, depending on, it's the individual attributes of the fish, can be a problem as well. You know, bone structures, body lines, all them bits will play a part in any fish. And you get them ones where you just throw a small amount of food and it looks like they're blown up like a cricket bat shape, which is never great. Totally agree. And that is the bottom this time. And that is me done. So thank you very much, ladies and gents. You've been amazing with so many different questions there this week. Obviously, the more you ask, the more value it provides for everybody and later down the line, which is what I'm here for. So should we just have a look at that Mango Achiever one more time before I go? Here we go. Look at that. Fucking hell. That's just savage. I tell you what, just seeing that does definitely think, oh, be nice to try and produce them. Hey, that idea, no, that's not been sown in my head at all. Yes, there we go. Ladies and gents, thank you very much. I'm off for an early night. I think it's going to be pathetically early night, 8 o'clock, but I'm back on the camera tomorrow amongst everything else. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and fingers crossed, I'll catch you all next week.